Thank you, Eddie. Thank you all for being here. Like I say, we're one day away from the kickoff, and couldn't be more excited for this matchup that we've had. We have two top 25 teams, and that doesn't happen very often here at the Sun Bowl. We are super excited to have Oregon State and Notre Dame playing here. Before I introduce the coaches, there are a few people I'd like to introduce that are here. First of all, our football chairman, who's been around doing this for about over 50 years, and I'd like to just say a couple of words, and Mr. John Fulmer, our football chairman for a long, long time. John?
Thanks, Bernie. Well, you all know the routine. This is we're one day away, and I know if the coaches and the press and the athletes and the athletic directors and everybody involved is as nervous as I am, then this isn't going to last long. But welcome back. You knew the routine. We'll introduce the coaches, and you'll have a chance to visit with them. But once again, thank you very much. It's been an absolutely great week. It's a great week for El Paso, and this is the most exciting thing that happens every year, as you well know. Thank you very much. I'll turn it over to Bernie.
Yeah, before I bring coaches up, there are other people I'd like to introduce, and obviously, the heads of these universities. I'd like to introduce is Scott here? I was going to introduce the athletic directors. Just say hello. Scott Barnes, I had a meeting with him this morning. I think he has a meeting, so he's not here, but he's the athletic director at Oregon State. I also have the retiring athletic director from Notre Dame, Mr. Jack Swarbrick, here, and the new athletic director, Pete Bavacchia, who's also sitting here. Let's get right to it. You came here to listen to the coaches speak, not myself. So I start with Oregon State's coach, Kefense Hynson. He'll make a statement, open it up for questions, and then we'll repeat that with Coach Freeman. So, Coach, if you don't mind.
Appreciate you.
Good morning, everybody. Again, on behalf of Oregon State, Scott Barnes, we are really excited to be a part of the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. Nothing but great things happened for us this week. Very hospitable. A lot of our first times being in this city, so we've been really excited. Looking forward to a great game. Got a great opponent, so we're excited about it. And I'll open it up for questions.
Please give your name and your organization when asking questions. Coach, how's your week been? I'm Eddie Morales from the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. How's your week been in El Paso so far?
It's been great. It's been great. Been a lot of fun. I think our guys have enjoyed it. This is just such a different experience for our players. The majority of our guys are from the Pacific Northwest, California. We got a couple guys from different parts of the country, but this has been a totally different experience for our players, and I just think, that's what life's about, getting new experiences, whether it be culturally, geographically, whatever it may be. But it's been really exciting, and it's been awesome. Just the hospitality has been great.
Questions?
Coach Rachel Phillips with ABC7. Considering where things stand with the Pac-12 and you guys not really being a part of all the teams leaving, would winning this game mean more to you?
Not because of that, I would say. Our guys are just excited about the opportunity to finish a season. We started this thing. We want to finish it the right way. And the outside circumstances, we have no control over that anyway, so we're not focusing our energy on that. We got a really good opponent that we're focusing our energy on. And we're just, again, the theme is to finish the season the right way.
Ben Goldrinson obviously started a lot of games for you last year. He'll start this game. Just the fact that you have seen him in action and he's played pretty well. He's won a bowl game for you. How much confidence does that give you against tomorrow?
Yeah, that's been awesome. I think if you talk to a lot of coaches and they're playing with their quote-unquote third-string quarterback, there'd be some anxiety there. Well, our guy started a bunch of games for us, won a bunch of games for us, played in big games for us, and has been successful in big games for us. So I think really from a coaching point, we've got a lot of confidence in him. But more importantly, I think our players have a lot of confidence in him. And I think that matters more than anything. If the guys that you go play with believe in you, that's a big deal. And so we have that with Ben.
Coach Hynson, Sam Guzman, KTSM 9 News. Considering the opt-outs, the transfers, what have you told your players that are going to get this opportunity to get more reps in this atmosphere, considering it's a bowl game and everything?
Yeah, I think there's two ways you can look at that, right? You can mourn the loss of the guys that are not playing, or you can really dive into the guys that are playing. We choose to dive into the guys that are playing. And for guys, and I tell every year, guys show up in bowl games that the world doesn't know yet. And this is an opportunity to do that. Before Tom Brady was Tom Brady, he was a backup quarterback for the New England Patriots. Then I think in 2002, he got an opportunity to get on the field and goes and wins the Super Bowl, and he's the guy that we all know today. Well, he wasn't the starter. He's a 6th-round draft pick. So I think that story resonates with guys in this game. We're going to have guys that start for the first time in this game, and they're going to do a really, really good job. And sometimes as coaches, you think you know, but you don't know until a guy gets on the grass and gets in between the lines. You just don't. And so I'm excited to see which guy does that, which guy gets that opportunity and runs with it and makes a name for himself. And just because the world doesn't know who you are, that's not your fault. You just need an opportunity and a stage. Well, you got one here. So,
Just for yourself, head coach in this position, did you see yourself being in this position?
No. When I woke up that day, I didn't think that was happening. It's something as a coach I think you always think about. You know, you sit in a staff meeting and you listen to the head coach talk and you kind of say to yourself, well, if I was in charge, I would do it this way. Well, they asked me to be in charge for this bowl game, and so there's some things that have been passionate to me that we've implemented, but I'm also not trying to reinvent the wheel because we had a good thing going. Our previous head coach was awesome, and a lot of the stuff we did I believed in wholeheartedly. But, you know, I talk about that opportunity. Well, it's an opportunity for myself too, and so I don't take that lightly. So I'm excited about the opportunity to go out there and lead a team and kind of see what happens.
Coach, Julian, what are some things you've implemented?
I'm sorry?
What are some of those new things that you have implemented?
I think one of the things I've always been interested in doing is just, you know, in football, the game, it's hard to replicate the game. As coaches, that's what we always try to do, is make practice as game-like as possible. And it's difficult to do that at times. One of the things I have tried to do with the team since I've been taking over is just practice sudden change, just changing scenarios, just randomly putting the ball on the 3-yard line and, hey, let's call a goal line play, 2-point play. It's 4th and 6. What are you calling? I did that for myself as much as I did for the players because I need to be in that mindset now as the head coach, being able to make decisions with not a whole lot of time to make them. And so that was one of the things we implemented.
Armando Saez from Claro Sports Mexico. What did you talk with Coach Bray, because you are going to leave the team to him?
Well, he's lending me the team for this period of time. Trent Bray's awesome. I love Trent. He and I came in together to Oregon State. You know, make no mistake about it, this is his team. He honestly has afforded me a great opportunity. He got the head job maybe 4 or 5 days after I got the interim tag. He could have very easily coached the game. He knew all the players. I think I helped him. You know, he could kind of focus on hiring a staff and kind of keeping the recruiting class intact. But honestly, I just think, you know, it just speaks to what kind of needs to happen, I think, in college football to give guys opportunities is be intentional about it. It was important to him to give me this opportunity so that I can be a better coach for it and get some experience at doing something that ultimately I'd like to do someday. And so I appreciate Coach Bray for that. I appreciate Scott Barnes for that. And again, I don't take the opportunity lightly.
Coach, Julian Pelusi, WNDU in South Bend. You guys are both mixing up your rosters a lot before this game. What have you been able to learn about Notre Dame, and how are you preparing for Stephen Jelly when there's not a lot of tape on him?
Yeah, well, when you put the tape on in Notre Dame, they're a really good football team. They're well coached. Defensively, they play with a lot of upperclassmen. I think they got like 9, 10 seniors starting on defense, which is awesome. And in college football, with it being so transactional now, like, you don't see that. Guys sticking through a program and staying for 4 or 5, even 6 years now with the COVID deal. So that's impressive. That's kind of the program that we think that we are, a developmental program where you can get guys in the program and get them in the system, and so they're better for it in 3 to 4 years. So I admire that from afar. As a college football fan, I think Notre Dame speaks for itself, so it's really cool and exciting to coach and play against them. And in terms of getting ready for a quarterback that you don't have a lot of snaps on, you just got to dive into the tape, try to find as much film as you can. With technology now, you can pretty much make a cut-up of any player that's ever played college football. You can find as many snaps as they got, and then you just coach it from there. And at the end of the day, as coaches, all we can do is prepare our guys as best we can, and it's a player's game. Once you get in the game, then we got to be able to make adjustments. They got to be able to make adjustments, and then you kind of go from there. But
Coach Ronald Clark from KMTR. You guys are sort of in a similar situation that you were in last year. You know, you head into a bowl game playing against a national powerhouse of sorts, and you guys go in as the underdog. Have you seen sort of some of that same aggression and like focus from last year into practice this year?
yeah, To be honest with you, man, I'm not into the underdog thing. I think it's really cliche. I think anybody anywhere can claim that. I just think it's got to be something inside of you that has the confidence to know that when you step on the field, you should have an opportunity to win a game. I'm not into throwing the underdog card out there to try to motivate. You know, if you're not motivated to play in this game against this team on this stage, then I probably can't help you, you know. So I don't really look at it that way. Our guys have confidence. We've played a lot of big games. We've played really good teams on our schedule. Notre Dame is another one. And honestly, it's about our process and our preparation. And I think any good team will tell you that. Like, it's more about us than it is the opponent. Obviously, we got a lot of respect for our opponents. They give us an opportunity to see where we're at. But I'm not so much, I'm more self-driven, I guess, in terms of my message to the team and what I want their process to be than I am about, you know, what the outsiders think about this game. Because the game's not played on paper. It's not. And that's where you build the underdog story, right? You look at the roster, who they got coming back, who we got coming back, who they played, I'm not into that. That's just not how sport is, right? You put two teams on the field, you don't know who's going to win. It always cracks me up when I look at ESPN and they got that percentage of win at this moment in the game. How you figure? I just don't understand how you come up with those metrics in a sport like this. And so, hopefully that answers your question. But I'm not into the underdog piece.
Coach Brett Bloomquist, El Paso Times. They obviously have a lot of players on defense who didn't opt out, who are staying there. You guys kind of moving around a little bit on offense. How do you move the ball against them? What's going to be the key to the offense?
We're going to do what we do well, and that's got to be good enough. You know, there's no magic pill we can take. We don't have any ringers coming in here between now and kickoff. Again, like I said, we have confidence in what we have. I think part of this whole portal opt-out deal is you got to have clarity on ultimately who you have playing in the game. And then from there, it's our coaches' jobs. It's my job to make sure we put our guys in the best situation possible. And I don't think you play football in a vacuum, offense, defense, special teams. It's a complementary game. So based on our strengths defensively and the kicking game, offensively, you're putting a team plan together to win the game, ultimately. It's not just our offense against their defense or our defense against their offense. It's the whole thing. And so when you put all that together, we feel like we got a good opportunity to go out there and compete.
One more question. Coach, you talked about the confidence that these players have going out there, but they also, just from listening to them this week, they have a lot of confidence in you. What is it about your bond with this group of players that, you know, has filled them to rally around you?
You know, they would be better answering that than myself. All I try to do is create an environment where you can be you. You know, I think sometimes in team sport, you can sacrifice the individual for the team, and I think there's a place for a team to allow you to be the individual that you are and still not compromise the team setting. And that's all I've tried to do is create a place and an environment where our players feel comfortable being themselves, whatever that means, because ultimately I think that's going to bring out the best player in them. And that's what I've tried to do. And I've tried to be honest with them, be transparent with them. There's been a lot of moving parts in this last month that we've had, and I think people appreciate honesty. Whether they want to hear it or not, I think they appreciate honesty. That's how I try to live my life, and that's kind of the environment I wanted our team to be in. It's just an honest, transparent environment where they felt good about being themselves, could express their issues and concerns, and know that it was okay to do that. And I feel like if you do that in any genre of life, you're going to have an opportunity to be your best self. That's my experience at Oregon State with our previous head coach, and that's the environment I want to continue to build on my watch.
Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Coach. And again, I'd like to bring in the head coach of the home team tomorrow, which obviously Notre Dame is. I'd like to introduce Mr. Marcus Freeman. Marcus.
Well, it's great to be here. It's been a great week, and thank you to everybody on the Sun Bowl committee and the hospitality they've provided our program, our players, our families. This has been a great week of experiencing not just the Sun Bowl, but the city of El Paso, and we couldn't be more grateful to be here. Our guys are excited. We've had a great week of practice. since we've gotten down here. The competitive spirit that they have, they understand the great opportunity we have in front of us. And so we're looking forward to the challenge tomorrow. It's been great my short time spending with Coach Hynson. It's not surprising to me why you've earned this opportunity. And you can tell by the way his players will rally around him. You're a leader. And so much congratulations to you. So I'll open up for questions, but we are excited for this opportunity.
Coach, what's been one of your favorite things that you have experienced here in El Paso so far this week?
Last night was pretty unique. I've never been to a hypnotist, and it's unique. I kind of woke up in the middle of the night kind of Googling, is this real or not? And so it's unique. That was the first time I've ever been to one of those shows. So the night before we went downtown and really got to experience El Paso a little bit. I can go on and on. This has been a great 4 days.
Thank you.
Marcus, Julia Palusi, WNDU. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks. Just with the influx of bowl games now, what does the Sun Bowl mean to this program and being here in El Paso?
I think it's the second longest bowl game. I remember growing up as a kid and hearing about the Sun Bowl, and I know this is a lot of our first times being down here, but the tradition, the respect of this game is something you're humbled to be a part of. And so, again, yes, there's an opponent in that competitive spirit when two teams come together and play each other, but there's another piece of being here in El Paso, a part of this Sun Bowl, that I think excites our entire program.
Marcus, Tim Priester from Irish Illustrated. Steve Angeli making his first start. What are your expectations, points of emphasis, marching orders?
Yeah, do the things that have put yourself in this position. And to me, he's earned the right in practice to be Sam Hartman's backup. And in the opportunities that he's played in games, he's done really well. And so you got to be Steve Angeli. Don't be Sam Hartman. Don't be anybody else. Be Steve Angeli. Take care of the football. That's always a big thing for me. Take care of the football. And you know what? One play, one life. You guys heard me say that plenty of times before.
And how much tailoring of the offense needed to be done? What in terms of adjustments for his style?
No, not much. Not much. Obviously we have two new tackles. And but the wideouts all have experience, and I think as you look at our two backs that are going to be playing, that's probably where you start looking, where a light tailoring has happened. But I don't think what Steve and Sam do really well is really going to change what we do offensively.
Coach Freeman, just to kind of piggyback off of that, a lot of other guys are getting their opportunities or more opportunities on this big stage. Just what has been the message from you to them in this game?
Yeah, grasp this opportunity, right? There's guys that this is going to be the first time starting for Notre Dame, and there's also guys that this is their last time playing for Notre Dame. And I think every single person that's going to have an opportunity has a different opportunity in front of them, but grasp yours. And so if you're a first-time starter like Charles Jagasaw or left tackle, you know what? Go show that you can be the future left tackle of this program. That's why you're going to go out there, right? And we have a strong belief in him. But also you think about the J.D. Bertrands, the Javante, Jean-Baptiste, the D.J. Brown, the Milk Vincent. I can go on and on about the guys that have chosen to make this their last game. They didn't have to play in this game. And they've chosen to make this their last game. And so they have an opportunity right in front of them that I want them to grasp too.
How important will be the return of Cross and Mills to the defense?
How important?
Yeah.
Huge, huge. Those two are, we always say you want to be good up the middle, right? And this can be in baseball, it can be in football, it can be on defense. And when you talk about those two guys that have started going on 3 years now for our defense, they're the foundation of what we do. And so to have those guys back for this game and for the future, I think will do great benefit. Will have great benefits for our program.
Coach, you have some wide receivers, a couple wide receivers in Greathouse and Thomas that are back after having hamstring injuries. You also have Salerno back. Talk to me about kind of what you've seen from them and how those experienced guys might be able to help Steve Angeli in the game.
Yeah, all those wideouts that you just mentioned, they've all had game experience. They've all either played a whole bunch or started. to have JT back and healthy is really encouraging. He really hasn't been healthy all year, and so I expect him to do some great things. Jaden Greathouse has had a great bowl prep. Jordan Faison has done really, really well with his, expanded role and for what we're going to ask him to do. Getting Cozy back, and Salerno, a guy that has played in really big games. He always had it in his mindset when he got injured that I want to be back for the bowl game. Obviously, he made it back for the Stanford game, but it's going to be great for Steve to have veterans, guys that have been out there, that knows what it's like in a big game situation.
Coach, Ronald Clark from KMTR in Eugene, Oregon. Obviously, we talk a lot about the quarterbacks not starting this year, but you're going up against a quarterback who's had the experience, played in a bowl game last year, but has about 3 snaps on the season this year. Is there any specific way to approach defending a quarterback who may have a little rust?
I think you watch film, you prepare. You got, I think, 8 games of film from when he did start. And the thing that I respect about him, he's a winner, right? And there's no substitution for that. He's shown to be a winner. And so he has that competitive spirit that we all desire to make sure our program has. And so, we're going to do what we do well. Right? This isn't about tricking your opponent. It's about having a great game plan and giving your guys a chance to play fast, and that's what we're going to do.
Coach, Jay Post, The Observer, you got 3 new captains for this game. What have you seen from them in the build-up to this matchup, especially with an offense on that side of also be relatively young compared to what you do?
With Milk, DJ, and Javante, those 3 new captains, the thing I saw from them is gratitude. And for me as the head coach, it was more, hey, who's 3 guys that this is their last game that have given this program everything they have? And that's why I made that decision. But to see the gratitude they have to be named a captain for Notre Dame's football program, to me was humbling as the head coach. And so they're going to be themselves. We don't ask them to do anything other than be themselves. But they have a lot of pride and joy in being named captains for this game.
What was it like telling them that they were named captain for this game?
I try not to make it a big, we just one-on-one conversations. I talked with J.D. Bertrand first because he's a captain, and I said, this is what I'm thinking, and what's your thoughts? And he was 100% supportive. I talked to the coaching staff, and then I met with him one-on-one, and I didn't want to make it a big deal. But after I saw the emotions some of them had, the gratitude they had, I said, you know what, I'm going to announce it to the team and make it a big deal. And the team was receptive, but they've earned it. They've earned that right to be named captain.
Marcus, you mentioned the offense changing a little bit, maybe a running back just with Jeremiah. I was interested in terms of how his skill set maybe would make the offense different than what Audric could be. I know the offensive line has changed and all that, but how could he take the running game maybe in a different direction?
Well, I think the different things you can do with Jeremiah varies from what you're going to ask Audric to do, right? And we're going to ask Jeremiah to do some things that we asked Audric to do, but also some things we didn't ask Audric to do, where you can use him in different positions. You can obviously try to get him to the perimeter. I mean, his speed is elite. And so how can we find different ways to get him in space and get him the ball and say, go make a play? Those, to me, are the ways you kind of expand the offense with Jeremiah Love.
I know you've worked with Mike Brown before, but just after some weeks of being on the field with him, what have you seen from him in terms of what he's given the wide receivers?
I mean, he hasn't tiptoed into the scene. He first day we announced him as hired, he went and he grabbed him and he dove right into that group, which is important, right? Because trust is earned. Right, trust is earned, and he dove right in to earn the trust of those guys, and a big part of that is being on the field with them, coaching them, not trying to see just coaching them from the minute they stepped on the field, and that's what you respect. He wasn't worried about anybody's feelings. He wants to make this group better, and I've seen really a belief. Right, it's not that have they gotten better. It's been 7, 8 practices, but it's the belief they have in a coach, that trust, that relationship that I think is so important. I've seen it develop right away.
We haven't had a chance to talk to you about Mike Denbrock since he was officially hired. How pleased with you with how quickly that went? What led you to making that decision, and how are you integrating him with the team and introducing him to the team?
I'm really pleased with how quickly it worked. It worked out, and obviously want to give credit to our administration and Jack and the commitment they've made to make sure that we can hire the best possible candidates to come into this program. And so obviously me and Mike go way back in terms of, not way back, but 4 years together at Cincinnati. And I've seen with my own eyes the great offensive coordinator that he is. And so to get him here and a part of our program is exciting. He was here yesterday, flew in yesterday, spent some time with the coaching staff and met the players, and then flew out today. But just to have him back in South Bend as our offense coordinator leading our offense is exciting for the future of our offense.
What do you remember about preparing against each other when you were coordinator?
Yeah, it's competitive battles, right? And you're talking about in the spring and fall camp, and it's offense versus defense, and there's a couple glances across the field, that you can non-verbally get a message across to somebody. And I know we had a couple of those, but you go into the locker room, man, he's a team guy. And, that's what I respect about Mike Denbrock. He is a competitive person, and he finds a way to get his best players involved in what it's going to take to have success. That's the thing. It wasn't, hey, here's my system, let's recruit to it. It's, okay, who's the best players, and how do we get them the ball? How do we find ways to do things that fit their skill set?
And his desire to be at Notre Dame, obviously he's been there before.
Yeah. Yeah, he loves this place. He loves it. And you hear the way Mike, his wife Diane, and his son Chance, I don't know how much Chance remembers about South Bend, but you hear the way they talk about the community, the people, and then you hear the way people talk about them. I told him, I said, you've had a huge impact in your time at Notre Dame because of the way people talk about you when you were there. And so he can't wait to get moved back to South Bend and get his family here too.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you very much, Coach. We're going to go ahead and get some pictures with the head coaches here in the middle, and then we'll get one-on-ones.
Just want to thank both coaches for taking time out of their busy schedules to come and do this. Again, kickoff's at due tomorrow. We're exciting. I will promise you one thing. There will be no snow on the field tomorrow when we get there, or rain, all right? That's the last time they were here. I'd like to also thank Jack and Pete for coming to the press conference. Of course, Scott Barnes, he's at a meeting because I had met with him this morning. So thank you all much for taking time out of your schedules, okay? Thank you very much.